going on, sports fans? Mr. SOS here with another good interview through Seth on Sports, but this interview is a little deeper and a little more powerful than interviews we've had in the past. A guy by the name of Markell Thompson. This gentleman has been through the ups, the downs, the triumphs, the glory, the everything you could possibly go through as a person who's trying to get ahead in the sports world. And I want to bring this interview to you because I want to give outlook on how things can go from real great to bad to good again. You never know what can happen, and the youth, I think, really need to see this. So if you're a young guy out there and you're trying to pursue your dreams in sports, you should really open your eyes and open your ears and listen to this interview. We'll be back with Markell Thompson. And we're back, sports fans. Back with Markell Thompson. How you doing today, man?
I'm good.
Man, thank you for being here. I may have laid it on, thick for the fans to let them know how important this is and the type of, people that I think can use this information the most, to kind of hear your story. So, I'm not going to waste any time. Let's start off. When did you start playing football?
I started young, about 6 years old. It was a local league, St. Bernadette. It was contact flag football.
Yeah.
And my dad was, unfortunately, he was one of my, fortunately he's passed away, but he was my coach. And God rest his soul, I miss him a lot. But man, that's where I started off, and he taught me everything from the old school moves, forearm shiver to the slap to the helmet. So
yeah.
I mean, my career started pretty early. Plus, I had to compete. I had two older brothers who were real sports driven, and a sister.
Oh, wow.
And so me being the youngest, I had something to live up to.
So the sister, was it kind of like the Reggie Miller, Cheryl Miller thing kind of going on?
Not so much, I got taller than her real soon, so, and she was just basketball.
Oh,
but,
okay.
She had hurt her knee, so her career ended pretty soon.
Okay, well, fast forward in a few years, high school, what was high school like as far as a football career for you,
Where I was not known for football, so much. It was more for basketball. But, my freshman year, after 2 games, I was already on VAR.
Oh.
Two of my freshman years, I was already on VAR. So and I finally got my first taste of actually, somebody my size bringing it to me. And I admit, my first time being a freshman, it was kind of like, whoa, I'm unused to this. And I got popped a couple of times, but, I was there and I got back up. Sophomore year, came to the coach and felt I needed to change the position. He gave me a shot, and I started playing tight end, and that's when I started off. And the years after, weren't so good, but, I kept up my practice and kept getting better. Granted, I had my father. My father went to Morgan State for football, and he always stayed on me. So, I kept getting, even though we weren't winning as much, I was still getting letters.
Right. So, despite having, not the most popular team, not the most winning team, tell us about how hard you worked. What was the work ethic? What was your mind at as far as trying to complete your goal, but not necessarily having it laid out on a silver platter like some of these other schools, like the big schools in Texas or the big schools in Alabama?
Well, I had me and another teammate. We would sometimes we would even lift after practice. That was something that like I said, I had my father there. He would stay there later, but it started to sink in that to get to the next level, I got to put in more time. So I started putting in more time, doing that. Plus having a girlfriend, my priorities got kind of mixed up. It was more of being eligible for sports, just doing enough to get by, and then having a girlfriend. My mom was focused on that, but I didn't see that if I would have had my education, I thought it was just based on my athletic ability. Oh, I'm gonna go to these places because I'm getting all these letters. Not knowing that, I'm just doing enough to get by in school. It's not enough to get into these colleges.
Right. Now the letters. What kind of letters were you getting? Are we talking top colleges?
I'm Nebraska.
Wow.
When Nebraska was really hot, and then Wisconsin for sure. Alvarez came for a personal visit, and it was like at the time it was like me, Booker Stanley, and I forget another kid, but I mean, he personally came to them. I mean, they pulled me out of class for him.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and pretty much Michigan, Indiana, pretty much all the Big Ten.
So, what was it like being in that limelight and, being so young? Only being in high school, but you got guys that you see on TV at your high school and they want to talk to you. How did that feel?
It wasn't like that because we weren't for football. So I mean, at my school, it wasn't really like that. But me, myself, I was excited. I was seeing that, okay, I could possibly go to this next level. Look at all these groups coming, people coming to see me. And, at one point it went to my head. I felt at one point you couldn't really tell me nothing because I'm going off to college.
Wow.
But, I mean, everybody has to eat a little bit of humble pie. And I think by the time my senior year came around and I knew I wasn't able to go straight to them, I had to sit back and say, wow, what's the next alternative? And I got to find one quick because my father, he came to me with pamphlets, Army pamphlets.
Oh, wow.
And this is after 9/11, so I'm like, oh, no, I can't do this.
All right.
So I ended up going to junior college.
So you went to junior college. Now, did you go on to the big colleges? Did you go to any of the college visits?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm seeing all these college visits. I'm seeing how good and beautiful the people are and how, these big crowds and everybody's just geeked for the team. And to find out that you won't be going right away is kind of, that's a shot to the heart. So I go to junior college down in Macomb, Mississippi. Southwest Mississippi Community College.
Yeah, I know about it.
And culture shock. Coming from up here in Midwest, going down there, it was a lot different. There's a little bit, still the old, the old ways.
It's down there. Yeah.
It's down there, but I mean, as long as you're about your business, you're not bothering nobody bothers you, and I knew it was a stepping stone. It's not where I wanted to be,
right.
But to get to where I wanted to be, I would have to get over this hump, and I buckled down. It wasn't nowhere for me to go anyway. I didn't have a car,
right?
So it wasn't nothing to do but do your work, do your studies. I graduated out of there with a 3.2.
Now, here with Markell Thompson. Now, kind of taking a step back. Now, you did some bigger college visits to end up at a junior college. What was the biggest difference that you saw from, headed to these big schools where, laying out the red carpet, big auditorium, big field to a junior college? What stood out in your mind as the most that when you got to the junior college, it was like, okay, I got to get back to where I was at?
Well, that's a show, and they roll out the red carpet for you and make you feel good. But I mean, hey, that's part of the game. But when I went to junior college, the main thing was I was away from home. That was my first real test of being separated from my parents. And, I think I handled it well. I didn't get in no trouble. I wasn't, out drinking or anything like that. I was basically doing what I was supposed to do. The big difference was it wasn't as funded as well, I would say.
Okay.
There was a lot of things where I was like, wow, that looks bad. Or, you see a roach that big crawling across your floor. You're like, oh, no, what's going on?
Right.
And that helped. That helped me want to say, this is not the place for me, and I need to buckle down and get my priorities right.
So you buckled down. Like you said, you got a 3.2, and you end up at one of the best schools in the nation, Florida University of Florida.
Yeah.
But you ended up a Gator guy.
Yeah. Well, I was fortunate with that because a guy who, one of the coaches at Florida, used to coach at my junior college, and through that transaction, my head coach that was there, hooked up with him, and they said they wanted me.
So what was that first year like with Florida? Like now that you done took your step back up from the junior college.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I felt a bit of redemption. Like, okay, now I can redeem. Now I'm where I should be, D1, where and it's not a given. You're not giving that, I should be D1 and blah, blah, blah. I worked when I was in junior college, believe it or not. I worked hard. I stayed in the room. I ran. I made sure that D1 was where I was going. But my first year, I was getting lost every day. The campus was huge. Campus was big. Oh man! And what was bad is that you're the first guy. You know, you're a new guy on campus. So the guys that are supposed to be your teammates, they walking around with scooters. Hey man, give me a ride. Oh, they keep going. But I mean, you get accustomed. I mean, and you have to learn quick because things are coming. Football's coming. School's coming. So it's time to really focus. You can't be partying too much. You can't be doing anything outside of what you need to do because you're gonna waste time and then you're gonna be lost. Now you're gonna be in trouble. Then you're gonna be behind.
All right. Well, again here with Markell Thompson. Markell, what was your life like, sports wise? Like athletically. Like, what were you doing that first year athletically?
First year?
Was it did you catch some of that, that limelight that you were feeling in high school all over again a little bit?
Yes. And unfortunately, because it's a lot more media. You see a lot more cameras, you see a lot more, people filming you. People know your name when you're walking around. And, I kind of gravitated to that instead of being focused on handling my business and getting out, and I got in an argument with my position coach, which ended me into the doghouse, which then ended me the whole year blocking. But granted, for what it was, I was still out on the field. So I took it as that, and I did my best job being the best blocker I could be out there. And I went against Marcus Spears, Pollock in Georgia, and held my own. Hey, if I'm out there, it's time to do the job. Right. So regardless if I'm not getting a pass or anything like that.
Right. So, you went from having a decent, first year regardless of not getting the pass. So, why was there nothing happening, the second year? Because, people may have heard of you, but I feel like, after having a year like that, what happened next?
Man, I had even a year of blocking, I had a very good year. I Googled myself and looked up some stuff and found I was ranked 36th in the nation. And all it was a blocking tight end.
Wow.
So I took it to I was like, okay, if I'm here, I can get further. Right. So Chris Lee, who was a quarterback at the time, I took me and him, I was one of his best mans at his wedding. We're friends. So 10:30 at night, 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the morning, we're out there and he's throwing me passes. I mean, repetition, hot sun. I'm out there with him. And man, you can't complain because you're getting better and you're getting the offense down. So come two-a-days, it got to a point where me and Chris was so connected. I knew I was getting the ball from jump. The hike of the ball. Right. I know where I need to be. I'm getting the ball. And 2 days before school started, I broke my ankle.
Wow.
Crushes my whole season.
Okay. So, but obviously, there are ways around an injury, medical, through medically redshirting.
And that's one thing I asked for. I asked Urban Meyer, could I get a medical red shirt? I asked him, I said, Coach, you think because of this year I didn't get to play, my injury, can I get a medical red shirt? Calm as ever. Sure, we'd love to have you. Love to have you back. He said, don't even worry about it. Okay. Practice come around, they tell me to get in full pads. My foot is still swollen. My foot looks like a ball. Tells me to put on full pads. My bone is healed. I'm fully healed. Get out there.
Okay, so how did that make you feel?
I felt like, does it matter if I'm hurt or not? Or am I just, just another person to throw out there, And they got, they had me even running. I'm limping. I'm in so much pain. I'm thinking I have a medical red shirt. I'm still going about my business. And the end of the year comes and I don't get it. When he craps on my name, it was on the part where I was like, well, I can't let this be the end. I'll put my hand in the NFL. I think I'm ready. Only granted on the fact that I'm coming off an injury. Oh well, but then that's on me. How am I gonna come back from it? Go to the camp. I was at the Giants camp. Did very well. Only missed one pass, and that one was thrown over my head. And I talked to my agent after the whole camp, and he said they called Florida, and this blew my mind because I knew I had it. And he said Markell's disheartened. He's not a loyal player. He's not coachable. He's a lazy guy. And the thing, when I broke my ankle, I was lifting twice a day, cottage lifts, all upper body, with one leg. So I was my heart was still in it. You couldn't take it away from me. But until when I heard that back, from my agent, that I can't move on, not based on my talent, but based on what another man said, it pretty much took the game away from me.
After all that, where'd you go from there?
Home. Came back to Wisconsin. Came back here and kind of was just out about football, but my dad was around. He said, "Well, you got a lot of knowledge, don't you give back?" So I ended up coaching. I ended up coaching at Whitefish Bay High School. It was different for me. I didn't really have, being a young guy myself. How can I coach, young athletes? And for the most part, with that coaching, you have to have a boundary. Let them know where you stand, where in terms of how you feel about the game, how you feel about in terms of how they should respect you and how you respect them.
Okay, so you kind of just took the route of coaching from then on, or was there no more playing for you? Or?
And I got tricked into playing again.
Okay.
My brothers, there's a tryout, or a combine, and my brothers was like, "Well, man, you play big time, college ball. We want to see how we fare against you." So I went and I did a tryout, and I seen some of my friends from when I was younger, also in the tryout. So as I go through it, next thing you know, I kind of got the itch. I got the itch real quick, and found out all the information, and I got on the team, the Muskego Hitmen in the IFL, and my first year pretty much took over, and I got the MVP my first year playing tight end. And for what it is, I mean, the league is extremely fun. Some teams, I can say, it's done. I'm trying to change that. It's done very well.
Okay.
There's guys that are running it and they do well. Some people in there that take advantage and do certain things. But other than that, the league is pure fun. It's a fun league. Right. And it's supposed to keep the game fun, and I believe that's what it does.
Keep it alive. All right. I can see that. So, you're still playing?
No. Unfortunately, I got diagnosed with kidney failure.
Wow.
And I am now on dialysis.
Wow.
And at a point where I thought, playing IFL again, I would be able to, okay, I got it back. And I tried arena ball. Was going to take it there. Said, okay, I'll go through the back door. Said, I can't go through the front door. And it was Peoria Pirates. Had a contract waiting for me. And I went to the doctor and found out I had swelling in my legs. Went to the doctor. The doctor told me I had symptoms. I had blood in my urine, and these just things that started trickling back after another. And I couldn't pass a physical. I couldn't play no more ball.
Wow. So, just kind of summing up things here with you, Markell. You're a star, shining light. Greg's held you back. You make it again. Urban Meyer poops on your name. You get it back again. And then, this time around, though, was it discouraging? This more the second time? Or, well, I guess what was more of the hurt? What hurt more?
That you can't do anything about it. It's something internal. And as much as I would love to change, like, as soon as I can't, now I'm at the mercy of somebody being the same blood type, same, compatible as me. But when it's all said and done, the fact that I'm still able to rise, wake up in the morning, open my eyes, you got to keep pushing. I have a son, so I have no choice. I have to keep going, ride this life till the wheels fall off. That's my only option. That's the best advice I can give myself.
Okay, well, outside of giving yourself advice, if you could say one thing to the youth who want to take that sports route to make a better way and to possibly shine through sports, even, more particular football, since that's the route you went, what message would you have for them?
Use the game, don't let the game use you. I mean, like I said, even now they're trying to fight for kids to play, get paid for college. And I mean, the kids are taking the same hits, maybe even worse than guys in the NFL. I mean, should they get paid? I think so. Why not? I mean, these kids are really, really doing a lot. There's a lot of grueling weightlifting, grueling training that goes along with it. And you're getting the education out of it. Yeah, that probably is the best thing. But when you're sitting there and you're like, man, I ain't got nothing to eat because it's summertime and I ain't go home, what am I gonna do? I have no money. Be smart about how you use this game. Don't get caught into a lot of the hype, because when it's all said and done, you are a commodity. There are other players behind you, and there's other players that's trying to take your spot. Use it as for what it is. It's a fun game. It's a very fun game. And, when I see people, going beyond the game and think they're better in the game can be taken away from you like that. With an injury or so forth, anything outside of the game, and it's gone. The main thing I think everybody should focus on is play the game, have fun, but education, that can't be taken away from you if you're smart. You can break a hand, break a wrist, break a foot, break a leg, tore ACL, MCL, any of that, shoulder out of place, and your game is done. What are you going to do? You can't be all about football. You got to have something else to you. Education is the first thing. For that football be a sport, a game that you play, that's fun. And you get enjoyment out of it.
Right. Well, Markell, thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem.
For talking to us, man. It was a great story. Like I said, I told you guys, his story is great. Markell Thompson, you can Google him. He's legit. Story. I hope this touched you, and I hope you see that, you don't always get what you want out of life, but, you get lemons, make lemonade. But thanks for tuning in to another interview. Mr. SOS signing out. Always remember to be a fan first.